Broadcasting down in the bayou, it's Mark Out Mania, a podcast featuring two average Joe wrestling fans talking about the business they love and so much more. And now, here's Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to episode 24 of Mark Out Mania. Patrick, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Finally over the WrestleMania hangover, and now I'm trying to get over the Shakeup hangover because what a week it was. I watched every minute of Raw, every minute of Smackdown the last 2 weeks because obviously a couple of weeks ago we had a lot of NXT call-ups, and then this past week had some more NXT call-ups, some more returns, including the ones, of course, last week as well. So a lot's been going on the last 2 weeks. I'm really excited about where, some of these new superstars on the new brands they're going to fall into these storylines. Really looking forward to that. So we're obviously going to dive into that today. It's Mark Out Mania episode 24 for April 21st, 2018. We're going to talk about the Shakeup, who we're looking forward to most on Raw and SmackDown, who we're most shocked about that landed on Raw or SmackDown, and where will the Shakeup take us going forward. Also, we're going to talk about a couple of New Japan shows coming up. See if I can get this right. I'm already messing up. Hai no Kuni, I think is how you say it. That's coming up on April 29th. Evil and Sonata versus Killer Elite Squad for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag titles, and then Suzuki versus Naito for the Intercontinental title. And then that'll lead up, obviously, to Don Taku on May 3rd and the 4th, which will feature Ospreay and Kushida for the Junior Heavyweight title and Okada and Tanahashi for the Heavyweight title, plus much more as well. So it's going to be a fun couple of weeks leading up to that show in New Japan. We're also going to talk Greatest Royal Rumble, which is coming up this Friday. We got the rumor mill coming up. Brock's new contract was leaked. We'll talk the details of that. Cheap Heat, Ryan's rant returns with a rant on John Cena. We're also going to talk Sami Callihan and Kevin Sullivan. Also, the police are looking for Harry Smith Jr. as well, so we'll dive into all that.
Yeah, you can find us on the internet at MarkOutMania.com. That's your central hub. Download and favorite us on iTunes. Also, if you have a chance, it'd really help us out if you go ahead and give us a rating and give us a comment on iTunes. That'll help us get in their algorithm and get shown on different pages and whatnot. Other than that, we got a guest with us today. We have Casey Jones. Casey, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? Happy to be here. Honored to be here. Big fan of the show. Long-time listener since episode 1.
Thank you.
Will. Yeah, man. Happy to be here. It's going to be great. I'm super excited.
And you are also a member of the Lake Charles Podcaster fraternity.
I am. I was formerly a part of another podcast. Now a part of a few different projects. Still figuring out some kinks, man. But yeah, man, it's exciting. I love this stuff. Just decided to pick it up one day last year and haven't looked back since.
Right. And then I love the way that you integrate Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fair to call Facebook your main medium?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we have our own website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which I don't really like Twitter, so I don't touch it that much.
Oh, man, that's where the wrestling smarks live.
I know. I stay away from them. I'm a big enough one on my own. But no, yeah, I think Facebook, with over 2 billion people being on it, and you never know how many people are just casual wrestling fans.
Mm-hmm.
I find it really easy to have that, with Facebook Live and being able to communicate so easily. I just find it a really good platform to just be able to talk to people.
Right, and you also do commentary for some indies around.
I sure do. Elevate Pro over in New Orleans. I've done commentary for Pro Wrestling 225 over in the Plaquemine, Baton Rouge area. Yeah, man, I love commentary. It's so much fun. I don't do any of this for money, honestly. I lose money doing this, but that's what I work my 9 to 5 for.
Yeah.
And this is it's a passion. It's what I love, man. I've been a fan ever since I was a kid. So just to even be doing this with you guys is a dream come true. I never thought I would ever be in this situation, in these shoes. So yeah, man, it's an honor.
Right on. And recently, you just entered the ring yourself.
Oh yeah, I did. This guy that I had some beef with, named Braxton Hunter. He doesn't deserve a plug, but he'll get it. We had a beard versus beard match. I was unfairly counted on. For the 3 count. I had my shoulder up. You've seen the footage.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately lost my beard. But it is what it is. Beards grow back. Happy to have stepped foot in the ring. Again, a dream come true, man. It's all just I'm living the dream, man.
Yeah. And then before we dive into the show, I definitely want to ask you this. Were your parents huge fans of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Okay, so I've been asking them this since I was old enough to know who Casey Jones was in the Ninja Turtles. And I asked my dad because I remember very distinctly the Ninja Turtles being on quite frequently when I was a kid. And I don't know if that was just for me or if that was for my parents, but I remember asking my dad. Yeah, I was like, Dad, were you a fan of the Ninja Turtles? And he's like, no, why? Because my name is Casey Jones. The guy actually, my full name is Casey Lee Jones. Yeah. That's the guy from the show. That's his full name. Casey Lee Jones is his full name. Yes. Even further into the hypothesis, the theory.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory.
The conspiracy theory. His girlfriend's name in the show, do you remember?
Wasn't it April?
April.
O'Neil?
My birthday's in April. My birthday was just this past Sunday.
Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah, so I'm like, come on, that's got to be it. And he's like, no, man, your mom picked your name. So I asked my mom, and she's like, Casey, I've never even seen that show. And I'm like, there's no way this is just a coincidence. But they claim it is. I'm gonna stick with it till the day I die. That's what I'm named after because he's awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get into the show, Patrick. We got a lot of good stuff.
I don't mean to cut you off. Before we get to the show, Casey actually attended Ring of Honor, SuperCard of Honor, and also attended WrestleMania. So before we dive into the show, just quickly, obviously I watched both shows. Right. My good buddies, Brink and Cruz, went to the Ring of Honor, SuperCard of Honor show. They said best show they've ever been to.
It was awesome.
What was your biggest takeaway from just being there? I know the atmosphere was probably great at a few amazing matches, but overall, what were your thoughts, after Ring of Honor, SuperCard of Honor?
Okay, so before I start, I want to send a big special thank you to my lovely fiance, Tristan. She was the whole reason we even went to that weekend of events. She bought the WrestleMania ticket for me for Christmas.
Shout out.
So, thanks, hon. Love you. But SuperCard was awesome. Got to meet a lot of wrestlers. Got to meet Motor City Machine Guns. Got to meet Kota Ibushi. Got to meet the Young Bucks. They took a picture with my little brother, actually, wished him a happy birthday because his birthday was a few days prior. And actually, Nick Jackson told my little brother happy birthday on Twitter.
Nice.
And got to meet, in my opinion, the best wrestler in the world, Kenny Omega.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually really funny, really nice. I walked up to him, couldn't believe I was meeting him, so I had my hand over my mouth. Like I was just in awe. And he said, "Are you going to throw up on me?" And I said, "No, I'm not going to throw up on you. I'm just really excited to meet you." He said, "Okay, cool, because I've already had like 2 people throw up on me today." So I said, "Well, I promise I won't be the
Not
third."
Surprising. I probably would be close to throwing up too because, in my opinion, he's the best wrestler in the world right now too. And man, I was a little bit upset that because my buddies Brink Cruz, they got some tickets and they forgot to include me, but I forgave them because I really had no intention of going that weekend because I was just doing other things. But definitely somebody would have said you can only meet one of these people.
Oh, yeah.
I would have chosen Kenny Omega off top, and he definitely got the loudest pop of the night.
Oh, yeah.
I know for a fact from watching it on TV. It definitely got the loudest pop of the night. Most people were there to watch Cody versus Kenny anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had some great other matches to go along with it. That's what Brink is agreeing, hands down, definitely. But, I really enjoyed it, and I'm kind of like you. You said you've only been watching New Japan Pro Wrestling. Probably in the last 2 years, I've only really been introduced to it. Probably last summer is when I really started watching it.
Right.
Brink got me, and he was talking about Hangman Ibushi was a really good match, too, from that night. But I started watching New Japan last summer, the G1 special that came to Los Angeles, and I think Kenny Omega, if I remember right, he won that, which he ended up winning the U.S. Heavyweight, IWGP U.S. Heavyweight Championship. So, and that's how I really started to kind of get on the Kenny Omega train because, I was just blown away by his matches. And then, of course, I think the first actual match I ever watched, because I remember, last year everyone was talking about the Okada Omega match from Wrestle Kingdom. Like it was Meltzer gave it 6 stars?
No.
Or was that? It was at least 5 stars.
I think he gave it a 5.5 or something, and then he gave the 60-minute Iron Man match that went to a draw 6.25.
Yeah, the best trilogy ever according to Brinkman. But I've seen all 3 of those matches now. Those 3 matches really made me become a big fan of Kenny Omega. So I would have been exactly like you, which is the point I'm trying to make here. I kind of got off on a side note there. But definitely would have been very nervous to meet Kenny Omega because he would have definitely been the number one choice had somebody said, if you can only meet one, it'd be Kenny Omega. So
and they were all very nice, too. I went up to the Bucks because you could tell, man, they were all tired. I went up to the Bucks, and they were just about to leave to go do media interviews, and I said, hey, look, man, if you guys have a minute, this is my little brother, and I said Nick actually wished him happy birthday on Twitter last week for his birthday, and he would love to get a picture with you guys. I didn't care if I was in the picture or not. And Matt Jackson said, all right, man, yeah, come on, let's take a picture. And so I said, all right, cool, how much? Because they were charging, they have to make money.
Yeah.
And so I said, how much? He goes, man, put your money away, don't worry about it. And so he let us take a picture with him for free.
We got these shirts that we're selling.
Yeah,
and
I actually bought one of their shirts that night. I said, well, they gave me a picture for free. But no, man, Hangman Page and Kota Ibushi was fantastic. The 6-man ladder tag.
Yes.
Oh, man, that was amazing. And the Kingdom actually were outside of the arena before the show started. They were outside, standing on an SUV, selling their shirts, like mocking the crowd. They were one of my favorite parts of the whole show. And then when they interfered, I wasn't surprised, but it was awesome. And actually, so Kenny and Cody obviously was very good, was great. People were there to see that match, but as soon as that match ended, a lot of people didn't know that we still had one more match to go.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yes,
yes, Marty and Dalton Castle,
yeah.
And people started leaving, and so Bryce and I stood up, and we're like, "Whoa, hold on, there's another match." And they're like, "No, that was the main event." We're like, "No, they still have the championship match." And I was skeptical about them putting that match on last because I'm like, there's no way this is going to live up to Cody and Kenny. And I got to tell you, I got to be honest, it did. It was very, very, very good. A lot of in-ring psychology, a lot of playing to the crowd. It was very good action. And I would put it, if I was to give Cody and Kenny, I wouldn't give it quite a 5. I'd give it a 4.5. Dalton Castle and Marty was a 4.25. It was right under the
Let me ask you this. Was the crowd emotionally fatigued by the time it got to the championship match? Were they in it?
I think for a split second they were fatigued. Right after Kenny and Cody, they're like, okay, we can go home. Because it was a lot longer show than we expected.
Yeah.
But when Marty's music hit, oh, man, the crowd just... Nice. It's like they had an energy drink and refreshed themselves.
Nice.
It was they all took a shot of coffee and they're like, yes, Marty's here. Marty, and I know you said Kenny got the biggest pop of the night. Marty was pretty dang close. Marty, the whoop whoop thing that the crowd does with him. Oh man, it was loud. And that little thing he does where he pops their fingers or tries to break their fingers.
Yeah.
He didn't have to say a single word. He would grab their fingers. The whole arena went silent. They would shh, like everybody, and it just went silent. A crowd of 6,000 people. Marty didn't have to say a single word, make a single motion towards the crowd. They all got quiet.
Wow.
It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it looked like it was a really good show to be at live. So glad it was a good time. I'm glad that they were able to come to New Orleans in the wake of WrestleMania weekend and put on that great of a show because obviously we have a poll up right now. There was another show going on at the same time in the same town, which, I mean, I said if we're looking top to bottom, NXT probably was better than Ring of Honor SuperCard of Honor because Ring of Honor SuperCard of Honor had, 8, 9, maybe 10 matches, whereas NXT only had half that amount. So, obviously from top to bottom, you don't have as much ground to cover.
Right.
But they had 2 5-star matches, which I've seen them both now. I mean, that ladder match, that was the match I was really looking forward to at WrestleMania weekend. That was the one match I said, this match is going to be awesome. And it did not disappoint. It got 5 stars. The North American Championship ladder match was really awesome. I'm glad Adam Cole won.
Yeah.
I picked Velveteen Dream. At one point I was hoping Ricochet would win it because that dude in the ring. Have you been able to watch NXT New Orleans since then?
I actually haven't. Just like I was telling Ryan before the show, working the 9 to 5, and then we have indie events that we go to usually on the weekends. My schedule's just been pretty packed, but other than what I'm doing with you guys today, my schedule's wide open. I'm going to go home and I'm going to watch Takeover New Orleans, and I'm going to watch WrestleMania back over again. And
now, don't waste your time with WrestleMania.
Don't waste your time with WrestleMania.
Well, he was there. So before we get into the poll, the couple of polls we have, you were at WrestleMania. What was that like? I really wanted to go. Like, ever since I heard they were coming to New Orleans, I was like, I really want to go. Unfortunately, some things happened. I wasn't able to go. But, I mean, what was it like? Was that your first WrestleMania, or did you go to
It was my first WrestleMania. And, again, thank you to Tristan for making that happen. Truly a dream come true. Never thought I would ever go to a WrestleMania in my life. some of the people we were with didn't like our seats. I didn't care. As long as I was in the building and I was able to watch it, that was it for me, man. And I think just the entrances alone were awesome. I think actually that might have been the best part of the show. As far as best match of the night and best reception was probably the mixed tag match with Ronda and Kurt against Triple H and Steph. Ronda, if I'm being 100% honest, probably the best in-ring debut I've ever seen in my entire life. It was so good. They played her part very well. Triple H and Stephanie are just consummate professionals in there too. Know how to make her look like a superstar, because she did. And that was probably my match of the night. Best reaction was probably AJ Styles. Worst reaction, Roman Reigns, obviously.
Yeah.
Loudest crowd reaction, actually, let me change that. Not AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan was definitely best crowd reaction. The loudest I heard the crowd was the Burn It Down and Seth Rollins' entrance. That was like deafening.
Wow.
I couldn't even hear the people next to me because it was so loud coming my way.
Wow.
It was awesome.
That was at the very beginning of the show. Rollins was the first person that came out. So at that point, because
they knew what they were doing. Yeah.
Because for me, look, because I was sitting there watching it. The intro comes on, and I'm just like, I'm so amped up. Like it takes a lot for me to get amped up these days. But the second WrestleMania comes on at 6:00, I can't, I start pacing around the room, and I'm ready to run through a wall
like a lion,
because it's like freaking WrestleMania. So that's why I wanted to go, but unfortunately I couldn't. So, but you
had the best seat in the house, bro.
I did. I had a good seat. Look, the WWE Network the network is absolutely fantastic, and I love the invention of the network was probably the greatest thing WWE ever did.
I agree.
So. And if you go back and rewatch WrestleMania, you're going to see how Bucky the Beaver ruined the Ronda Rousey match by exposing the armbar multiple times for what it was.
Have you watched it back on the network?
Yeah. No, the only thing that I've gone back and that's simply because I don't want to risk ruining what I enjoyed because I know that I'm probably going to go back and watch it and it's not going to be as good. But I have gone back and watched the entrances because I'm a big entrance nerd. I love entrances. Yes. That's one of my favorite parts of wrestling in general. And I think WWE kind of redeemed themselves with the added in effects and graphics that they did for Mania with these lame effects they've been doing on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Whenever they emphasize a word, it pops up on the screen, and you're like, oh, God, come on. You could have been doing that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But, the entrances were fantastic. I loved, speaking of Seth Rollins, I loved his how it went to the ice instead of the fire, and he had the blue contacts in, because we didn't see that live, and then my buddy sent a picture when he was watching it at home, and he said, just in case you didn't see it. And I said, oh, my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. And good thing you didn't go to All Access with the measles outbreak.
Yeah.
And, this is how terrible of a podcast family we are. Hunter was there, and I don't think any of us checked up on him to see if he got the measles.
No, Hunter, we hope you're measles free, buddy. Well, he didn't go to. He went to Access. He didn't go to actual WrestleMania.
I know, but that's where the measles were at the All Access.
Well, they were talking about fans at WrestleMania too, so I don't know. I wasn't there for any of it. So I think I'm in the clear. But.
Well, hey, my family's all good. Everybody that went with me were free.
Hopefully, everyone was properly inoculated as a child.
That's a big word.
Yeah, thank you.
I couldn't have used that.
Yeah,
I would have screwed that up.
We flex here sometimes.
All right, so we have some polls.
Yes.
The first poll I think you did was whether or not the fans liked WrestleMania or NXT TakeOver more. Yeah, and then the second one was whether they liked Ring of Honor, SuperCard of Honor, or NXT more.
Let me get down to that one here. I was going to start with the other one since we talked about the first show first. Boy, we post a lot. I'm still going. Okay, here we go. Which pay-per-view did you enjoy more? Patrick, who do you think the Markout Mania chose?
Oh, this is for WrestleMania versus NXT?
The Markout Nation. Yeah, this is for TakeOver and WrestleMania.
Oh, because I saw some of the results when you first posted it.
Dang it.
It was an overwhelming... It looked like about a 75% for NXT TakeOver, which I would have to agree.
Okay.
The matches obviously were much better. Yeah. Overall, I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy WrestleMania because it would take a lot for me to not enjoy WrestleMania.
Let's be honest, that show is poop.
It was better than WrestleMania 32. I got to tell
you what, you think about it, it was one of the better WrestleManias in the past handful of years, in my opinion. Probably since WrestleMania 30, maybe. It might have been the best. Because, I mean, you had, and of course, the card was stacked. You had the best match of the night from the most unlikely, the mixed tag team match. You had the Charlotte Asuka match, which you didn't like that match.
Nah.
I thought it was really good. The match, the show started off as hot as it could be. The first match was really good. Second match was really good. The mixed tag match was really good. And then after that, slowly kind of fizzled. And then at the end, of course, when Brock won, that was kind of a big swerve. Obviously, a lot of people were not very happy about it.
I think that's the biggest thing I took away from Mania was that it did a really good job in dropping my jaw most of the night. Because I remember when Asuka lost, I literally sat there like this for a solid 2 minutes.
The New Orleans?
Yeah.
The New Orleans Superdome is where streaks go to die.
That's exactly. I looked over at my buddy Austin, he's a wrestling fan since he was a kid, but he's doesn't really watch it as much as I do. And I said the exact same thing, and he said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "The Undertaker lost here at 30." And he was like, "Oh." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude."
Now, granted, the Undertaker streak right here, Asuka streak. Right here, but Asuka streak obviously still a little bit impressive, but not quite. I mean, there will be no streak ever as impressive as 21-0 at WrestleMania. So, but I enjoyed WrestleMania. I would say obviously NXT Takeover was better. What are the results?
73% of the Markout Nation said NXT Takeover NOLA was better.
Yeah,
how many votes? WrestleMania 34, and I think that's pretty sad that your Bush leagues outshine you like that.
I think that just speaks to who is running a better, who's running a better roster.
Yeah,
because you look at all the people that. Let's just assume, nobody really knows what's going on backstage, but let's just assume Triple H is running everything for NXT. You look at all the people he's lost and what he does to make up for that, and he still puts on better cards.
Yeah, it's like a never-ending fountain of talent in NXT. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is, and I know they just lost a lot of good talent to the main roster again, and there are apparently rumors of them losing more.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to overcome the No Way Jose call up.
Yeah, that's detrimental to them. I don't know how they can. Can you really run an NXT show without a conga line?
I love him. No Way Jose. He's getting
No Way Jose. Bring him up. Bring him up. Let him dance.
So our next one was NXT TakeOver NOLA pitted against ROH SuperCard of Honor.
I voted in that one.
Yes, what did you vote for?
Well, okay, I voted for SuperCard just simply because I was there.
You were there.
Got to experience
you felt the energy.
I felt the energy, but I'm not naive. I know that SuperCard, in my opinion, I know
you
that
got to touch
TakeOver
Omega.
Yeah, what's that? I did. I hugged him. I sent. I'll show you the picture in just a minute. But I sent the gun to the camera with him.
Yes.
But I know that TakeOver was a better card. I know that they had better matches. Look, you're looking at a ladder match that was a potential match of the year candidate. You look at Cien Almas and Aleister Black, which is a potential match of the year candidate, and you look at Ciampa and Gargano, which is a potential match of the decade candidate. Yes. You can't look at that and say, oh, well, yeah, SuperCard was better. It was like 4 hours longer, but it was better. No, I think TakeOver was definitely better, and I think Triple H and Shawn Michaels down there and whoever else is backstage. I know Candy Siemens back there too, but they do a fantastic job of putting on a great show.
Matt Bloom is back as well.
Matt Bloom, yeah.
Yeah, he's heading the Saudi Arabian tryouts right now.
God. It's like, they didn't learn the lesson with this guy the first time. You think he changed?
Yeah, you never know.
Who'd you vote for, Patrick?
I voted for NXT TakeOver New Orleans simply because of that North American Championship ladder match. That was unbelievable. That's one of the better ladder matches I've ever seen. Those six guys together. EC3 died, I think, once.
Maybe even more than that.
Ricochet, Ricochet was exciting from start to finish in that match. I found myself, even though I picked Velveteen Dream to win the match, I found myself not even 5 minutes in the match like, you know what, I hope Ricochet wins because I'm already... the 60 to 90 seconds within the start of the match, the dude was jumping off turnbuckles, flipping onto people like it was nothing, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing."
I don't want to steal your rant time, Ryan. I'm not gonna rant here. I just want to simply put this out there.
Do what you do.
I have been a fan of Velveteen Dream since before he was Velveteen Dream. When he was Patrick Clark, before he even got to Tough Enough, I knew this guy on the Indies, and I knew he was talented. And I told Bryce, and I told my little brother, I said, "You better hop on this Patrick Clark bandwagon right now because this kid's going to be special." I call him kid because I'm older than him.
Yeah.
But this kid's going to be special, and he's going to be his character work is unreal. He's been given so many different gimmicks, and he's just made them work. He had a Trump supporter gimmick, and as a heel in NXT before he was Velveteen Dream, and he worked the hell out of it, man.
Yeah,
the people hated him so much, and he loved it. But ever since he's gone to this Velveteen Dream, which is like a mix of Gold Dust and Rick Rude and a little bit of Prince added in there too.
Yeah,
it's a character work that I haven't seen since the late '90s Gold Dust, and it's this kid is amazing. He's super talented. He can talk on the mic, and I just love that everybody's jumping on the bandwagon now, on the Patrick Clark bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
And this kid's going somewhere. I know that when he goes to the main roster, he probably won't be utilized as well as he is in NXT now. But this kid's got potential, a lot of potential.
Yeah. I was a big fan of his the pants he was wearing at NXT
Yes.
Takeover. It was the Mardi Gras colors. I was like, hell yeah! I really hope he wins.
At War Games, whenever he wore the half Velveteen Dream on this side and then Aleister Black on the other side, I'm like, man, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That dude got some nice ring attire. So I'm hoping he can definitely feud for the North American title, maybe, or at least he can be part of the feud.
Right.
I haven't been able to watch NXT since WrestleMania, so I don't know where they're going. I do know the Undisputed Era is running things right now.
Hey, that's my favorite stable in wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bullet Club, I like Bullet Club. But Undisputed Era, yeah, I like them a lot. That's four, now that Roderick Strong is with them, four top-rate guys that I have watched for years now. And it's just like, looking that I can see all these guys in one group, I'm like, these are all world champions. These guys could be world champions anywhere they go. And I'm like, man, this is a great group of guys they have.
And it's a great brand that they're on, NXT.
Yes.
NXT, just when you thought, because you were talking earlier about how they're losing guys and they may lose more guys. They keep losing guys, but it seems like Triple H keeps, finding new guys. And, every time somebody was saying this the other day, what has been the best NXT takeover, and it's like every time, it's always the latest one. It's always the most recent NXT takeover, and it's just getting better and better and better. So that right there is a good sign of things to come. I think once Triple H, whenever it may be in 1 year, in 5, in 10, in 15, in 20, I don't know. When he takes over the main roster, WWE is going to be in tremendous shape as long as Triple H is running the show there, because obviously look what he's done with NXT. I mean, NXT is just an amazing brand in itself. So, did you do the second poll? Whether
this one was a wider gap. 81% of the Markout Nation said take over NOLA over ROH SuperCard of Honor.
So does that mean a lot of people think WrestleMania was better than Ring of Honor SuperCard of Honor?
Yeah, NXT all out winner.
Yeah, NXT definitely. I mean, you got. When you have literally 40% of your matches were 5 stars, hey, that's definitely because I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think WWE has ever had an event where they had 2 5-star matches rated by Dave Meltzer.
Well, I mean, when you look at how far and few between the 5-star matches have come until January with Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano and Andrade Cien Almas. The last time they had a 5-star match was Cena and Punk at Money in the Bank in 2011.
And now you got
7 years. I know. 3
NXT
in 1
has
year.
3 5-star matches this year. That right there should tell you how well Triple H is running this brand, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm really looking forward to see, because I think they're going to have a Chicago show coming up in the middle of June.
Yep.
That's going to be very, very interesting, because they're going to have that weekend to themselves, I think. I don't know if there might be a WWE pay-per-view that weekend.
I know Money
Sunday.
in the Bank's supposed to be in Chicago.
It might be
later this year. They're actually talking.
June,
you know how SummerSlam is kind of New York exclusive now. They're talking about making Money in the Bank Chicago exclusive.
Why? You can get shot in Chicago.
You could. You can get shot anywhere.
Yeah, but it's called Chirac for a reason. No, thank you. They should get like hazardous pay there.
That's right. Yeah, they should. They just use the briefcase as a bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever gets the briefcase gets to walk out alive.
Exactly.
Well, all right. With that being said, so we went over the polls. Let's dive now into, because man, I tell you what, we've been we've been talking about WrestleMania weekend for a little bit, but let's dive in now. Obviously, after WrestleMania weekend, they had the shakeup, but they had some returning stars too the first week. Samoa Joe came back, Jeff Hardy came back. Who else came back? So many people freaking came back.
Did you say?
The week after WrestleMania, Bobby Lashley returned.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, so that was a very long awaited return there, and then obviously the
Mike
superstar.
Kanellis.
Yeah, well, I haven't. Has he been on? If he was on TV the last couple of weeks, I didn't see him. I think he's just.
I think he's been off ever since they had their baby.
Yeah, so they had the baby though. So I don't know. Maybe their return, is imminent coming up. Which at this point, with all the people that went to SmackDown, all the people that have gone to Raw, man, like how are they going to have all this time on SmackDown for all of these people? Like,
right?
They have so many people on SmackDown now that I'm all for it because I feel like SmackDown was getting to the point where it needed to be a little revamped. And let's dive into the first question. Who are we looking most forward to that has moved to Raw and SmackDown? So we'll start with Raw. I'll go first. I was really excited when, first of all, I wasn't that excited. Dolph Ziggler comes out, obviously, is now on Raw. But then the Raw debut of Drew McIntyre. So, and everybody is comparing them to a modern-day Diesel and Shawn Michaels.
Nice.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do. I hope they don't ruin this. Obviously, Ziggler has his contract where he is very flexible. He's going to put more guys over. And then now you're teaming him with a Drew McIntyre. I mean, the big old dude.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, it's that's what I'm most looking forward to going forward on the Monday Night Raw brand. Ryan, go ahead. What do you after the Superstar Shakeup, what are you looking most forward to?
With Raw, I'll start with my favorite women acquisition because the women's division is so hot right now, dude. And not just because they're women. But the Riot Squad, man. I love me some Riot Squad, dude.
Hey, I love me some Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a big fan of Liv Morgan.
Yeah, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, they got a great stable, dude. I really like the Riot Squad. And then for the male acquisition, I'm going to go with Baron Corbin.
Wait, hold on.
No, I'm not.
I was about to say, yeah, you were so full
I was about
of
to
it
say,
right
Ryan, come on.
Screw Baron Corbin. And his hairline.
I was about to say, because now that's the thing. I didn't do a female acquisition, but I really don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say, because, I'm not very high on the Riot Squad as a whole. I like Ruby Riott. I think Ruby Riott's really good. I think Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan have some potential, but obviously they're not quite there yet. I'm going to say Natalya because she's supposed to feud with Ronda here, and she's going to apparently, because they're friends apparently,
right?
Yeah.
And I think Natalya's going to turn on her, and they're going to have a fight, which is a really good feud to have for Ronda with the ring vet, who's going to make her look really, really good.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they kind of brought Natalya over, obviously to get Ronda's feet a little more wet.
Yeah.
When she goes, full time. So I'm looking forward to that. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Well, my male acquisition is the glorious one, Bobby Roode.
I was about to say when you said the Riot Squad, I was like, well, maybe he's doing I legitimately thought you were gonna immediately boom Bobby Roode, which was one of my favorites as well. I was really excited. I had a feeling because earlier in the night they had said they were announcing the 10-man tag, and then they announced and the final member of one of the teams making his Raw debut. So I'm thinking, okay, who's on SmackDown that has never been on Raw? And I'm thinking it's got to be one of the NXT call-ups. I'm thinking to myself, Shinsuke Nakamura. They're not going to move him. He's feuding with AJ.
Yeah.
The next one was Bobby Roode. And I was like, it makes perfect sense.
Yep.
And I think it's a good move. I really like the move Bobby Roode on a Monday nights. They're now glorious.
Yeah.
Yep.
What you think, Casey?
What you got, Casey?
Okay, so you actually stole my favorite. Definitely Dolph and Drew. I think this has potential to be one of the best tag teams of this year, if not the best tag team of the year. Drew, even though he has vastly improved since last time he was in WWE, his accent kind of gets in the way for some people sometimes. So I think putting him with a mouthpiece like Dolph And plus, let's be honest, their tag finisher is awesome.
Oh, yes.
I loved when they hit that. I said, "Oh my gosh, yes, that's awesome." They would be my favorite acquisition for Raw. I'm going to cheat a little bit. My favorite women's acquisition was not in the shakeup. It was the week before. I'm going to go with Ember Moon because I'm a huge fan of Ember Moon. She actually was a huge indie star in Dallas, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area before she ended up going to NXT. Can I say my least favorite?
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal. Get him out of here.
Screw that dude.
I know. But you know what? We've obviously given Jinder a lot of flack. I've always said his character is the perfect heel. He just can't wrestle. I tell you what, when he defended his title against Jeff Hardy on Monday night, it was a decent match. I will give him that. And I'm always very hopeful that he can get better as a wrestler because, like I said, his character is the perfect heel. He has legit heat on him, I think.
Yeah.
Like, the crowd really does not like him. So he has legitimate heat from the crowd. And I just hope that one day he can get his wrestling skills to the point where, like, some people might be like, whoa, like, we don't like him, but damn, he put on a good match. And I think that match with Jeff Hardy, which I think Jeff Hardy can make a lot of people look good, it was a pretty good match. I mean, it wasn't, nothing spectacular, but for Jinder's,
it was decent.
For his expectations, it was really good. I was somewhat impressed.
Can I point something out?
Yeah.
If Dolph and Drew don't work out, all three members of 3MB are now on Monday Night Raw again.
Yep.
Yes.
They did bring that up.
I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm all for a 3MB reunion.
Maybe
I'm all for it.
Maybe they can put them together and not call them 3MB and just make them like a more serious stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could deal with that.
Or like if they have all some kind of run-in with one another. Like maybe
they probably will, yeah.
Maybe next year in the Rumble, or maybe in the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Oh,
what if all three of them
point.
are in the Greatest Royal Rumble and they all because Jinder's not a champion, he's going to be in it. Slater's not a champion, he'll be in. McIntyre's not a champion. I can see all three of those guys being in the Greatest Royal Rumble, and there's going to be a point in the Rumble where all three of them kind of encounter one another. Now, I'm assuming the Saudi Arabian crowd very familiar with Jinder Mahal, obviously, and I'm assuming they're somewhat familiar with 3MB. So whether they pull that trigger in Saudi Arabia, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't know if the crowd may or may not be that into it. I don't know. Because I don't know if they've ever had a show in Saudi Arabia. They might have, not a show like this, obviously, but so I don't know how the Saudi Arabian crowd is going to react.
They probably had one of those support the troops shows there.
Well, they usually do those in Iraq or Afghanistan.
They did one last year. They did a show last year. I don't know if it was in Saudi Arabia, but I know wherever it was, the women weren't allowed. I don't know if they weren't allowed to wrestle or if they just had to be completely covered.
Yeah.
They couldn't show their face or skin or anything.
No, they
really.
wrestled. That happened because it was Sasha.
Maybe.
Yeah,
it was Sasha and Alexa, right?
It was Sasha and Alexa. It was the first women's wrestling match, and I cannot remember for the life of me what country. It might have been was it India? Maybe
it might have been
because they had that tour in India late last year. And they actually wrestled, and they were all. They I don't think they had to cover their faces, but their entire bodies.
Yeah, they wore long sleeves.
Definitely. They wore long sleeves, long pants, and everything. So that I definitely remember seeing that, and they kind of made a big deal out of that. But as far as the tribute to the troop shows, they've always done. They've always done those in front of the troops, though. Most of them are obviously American, so they've never actually, I don't think, done a show like this in front of a Saudi Arabian crowd, which. If I had to guess, obviously, it's going to be at least 95% Saudi Arabian in there. There might be some few Americans hanging around. Oh, look, the Greatest Royal Rumble. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. With
some troops there.
There could be. But didn't you say the Saudi Arabian government bought all the tickets?
Well, I didn't read the story. That's what the headline was, but I think you got more information on that.
Yeah, okay, so they had two different types of tickets. I guess three, technically. They had floor seats, which all the floor seats were saved for government officials. Of whatever degree. All those were saved for government officials, so those will be filled. And then the other two tickets they had a, I think they called it a bachelor's ticket, which was only allowed to be purchased by a single male.
What?
And those are all sold out. So now the only tickets that they have left are family packages, and you have to bring at least one woman in those packages, or you can't buy that package.
So a bunch of boys just can't go out.
Right. So that's what a lot of people are very upset about that. And WWE has rearranged a lot of the seats. And so now a lot of people that bought the, quote, bachelor tickets, now don't have seats because their seats are now family package seats.
Oh, snap.
So a lot of people are infuriated
This is a hot
over
mess.
this. It is. And tickets were apparently supposed to go on sale over a month ago and never did until last week. So it's crazy right now. So we're not sure exactly what's happening with the seats.
So
That'll be an interesting
WWE's
development.
running the seating chart, or the Saudi government is?
I think the WWE is running the seating chart, but I think the Saudi government decided what kind of tickets they were going to sell. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they put in some rules as to who could buy tickets and what the restriction was. And yeah.
Who does this King Abdullah think he is?
God, disrespectful.
So with that being said, let's dive over now as far as who are we looking forward to on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll do a female and a male acquisition. Obviously, female, I'm looking forward to Asuka on SmackDown.
You know it.
After the streak being broken. Kind of a fresh start for her. And now it looks like they're going to kind of side her with Charlotte and Becky. So that'll be interesting there. As far as the males go, it's got to be Samoa Joe. I'm very interested to see what Samoa Joe is going to do on SmackDown. And that's I'm all going to kind of spoil this, but that's basically my most shocked person as far as who's went over to SmackDown. Like, I was not expecting Samoa Joe to go to SmackDown, but I'm really looking forward. I love me some Samoa Joe. The dude is money on the mic, dude's money in the ring, and it's unfortunate that these injuries keep happening to him.
Right.
So hopefully he can stay healthy now and have a good summer run into SummerSlam and, stay healthy going forward. So, Ryan, who you got for SmackDown? As you're looking forward to?
Samoa Joe and Asuka are definitely the clear-cut favorites, but I'm going to do a little swerve here. I like the Miz acquisition.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because, we were talking about this in the Live and Uncut before the show. Man, the feud with him and Daniel Bryan is going to be absolutely epic.
That's the whole reason I called him in my predictions. That's the whole reason I called him to go to SmackDown, because that match is going to be money.
Yes.
It will.
That whole feud's going to be money. I don't want to spoil any more of what I'm going to say on this topic, but Casey, go ahead. Who are you?
Wait, I need to get my chick.
Oh yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Mandy Rose, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm so upset that she's not going to be on Monday nights because, honestly, my thoughts on Mandy Rose real quick and Absolution. My thought initially, I was like, man, they're going to get buried, but their girl Paige is the GM, so they got the hookup now with the GM, so how are they going to be used? But, Mandy Rose, nice to look at.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I'm kind of stuck here. I was going to say The Miz just because of the rivalry that he's going to have with Daniel Bryan. By the way, just real quick, if you look at the potential of the rivalry that we're going to have with Daniel Bryan and The Miz, what do they? I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna answer it very quickly. What do they have in common? They both just had baby girls. So in 20 years, we could be renewing this rivalry entirely with a whole new generation of Daniel Bryan and The Miz against each other as female wrestlers.
Yeah.
This could go down as potentially the greatest rivalry in history
And have
of
Pops
wrestling.
in the corner.
Yes.
In my opinion, it's
crazy.
already the best rivalry right now in wrestling.
The story behind it is just phenomenal.
Because obviously they go way back to when they first started the original
NXT.
NXT, I think, whenever they had the Nexus, obviously.
Right.
And Daniel Bryan was initially a member, one of the original members. Miz was his pro, and they were just going at it ever since then. Since then, obviously, they've had title matches against each other. I think Daniel Bryan has beaten him for the U.S. title a few years back, and now it's coming full circle again with the Miz having his rant on talking smack a couple of years ago. That was one of the best promos the Miz has ever cut, and now that Daniel Bryan can wrestle again, like it's like Christmas morning because I was kind of saying it leading up to WrestleMania here on the podcast, but if Daniel Bryan had gotten clear, which he did, I was hoping I want to see Daniel Bryan and The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 34.
Yeah.
And obviously we didn't get that, but obviously now we're going to get it. And you know what? These two dudes don't even have to wrestle for a belt.
Nope.
These two dudes can just get in the ring because the story is already there. You don't even need to add a championship belt to this story. It's going to be really awesome when those two dudes get in the ring and if they allow them to do whatever they want to do in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Miz, the best heel in the business right now. But I have a tie between my favorite switch. It is Andrade Cien Almas and The Bar. I'm very excited to see the Bar against the Usos, the New Day, the Bludgeon Brothers. But Andrade Cien Almas, I think, is one of the best wrestlers in the world. So I'm very excited to see him against Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan.
Absolutely.
Do you think they throw him in there automatically?
No. I think he's going to be working the lower to mid card first, build him up a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he never makes it to the main event. He probably won't because
they're so stacked.
Yeah, they are, and that's nothing against him, but you have to have guys in your mid card.
Right.
You have to have your upper mid card. You have to have your mid card champions. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's U.S. champion within a year. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I would love to see a match between him and Jeff Hardy. That would be fantastic for the U.S. title. My favorite woman, again, going to cheat a little bit, the iconic duo, Peyton Royce, Billie Kay.
That is by far the best looking.
Love
Peyton Royce. Yeah, I would have dinner with her. Okay,
I would love.
she is.
You would buy her
very
a steak.
nice.
I would love to disappoint Peyton Royce. Absolutely. I mean, because I tell you what, man, if she didn't look good, I would not be that excited about her because, in my opinion, I've never really seen her wrestle because, I mean, why watch her wrestle? You just come on now. But I don't know the way they cut promos. I don't know. It's almost a little cringeworthy to me.
Their accent just I love their accent.
And I get it, they're heels and they're the gimmick that they're probably supposed to have, they're actually doing to a T. But like I don't know, they're just and I guess it's working because they just I don't know, when they talk they're annoying to me. I hear Peyton Royce is a little bit better wrestler than Billie Kay, so I'm looking forward to see how good they can do in the ring. Also, they were on Lillian Garcia's podcast. I can't remember the name of Lillian's podcast. Something Glory or something like that, maybe. I can't remember. But I hear
think
a lot
Making Their Way to the Ring or something like that. I think that's the name of it.
But either way, y'all need to go listen to Lillian Garcia's podcast when she has Billie Kay and Peyton Royce on there. I haven't listened to it, but I've heard nothing but like positive feedback, great things, how great they were on the podcast. And if you don't know much about them, that you need to listen to them on this podcast. They kind of tell their story and all this stuff. And I've just heard nothing but good feedback about their appearance on Lillian's podcast. So I'm definitely going to try and listen to that whenever I get a chance. But I'm also excited, like I said, about them being on SmackDown because, hey, they're nice to look at, both of them. I'd rather Peyton Royce if I had to pick, but I'm more than excited that. And then obviously it looks like they're going to get thrown in like with Charlotte and stuff. So
yeah. Last thing for me on this one, I'm actually going to go in opposite direction of both of you. My least favorite acquisition for SmackDown is actually Asuka.
What?
I would much rather keep her and Charlotte off of the same show. So that way, whenever you eventually revisit it, it's not so quick. Because now, I guess maybe you could eventually turn Asuka heel or turn Charlotte heel. But it would feel, if they did it in less than 6 months, it would feel way too quick. And let's face it, they're going to be running dual pay-per-view every month now.
Yeah.
So if you keep them on separate brands and then eventually you have one of them attack the other, you could just run the storyline like, oh, Kurt Angle comes out and is like, oh, we just made a trade with SmackDown. We're sending Asuka to SmackDown now. I don't think you needed to rush them on the same show now. I think you needed to let that loss sit for a little bit, let Asuka rebuild herself a little bit on Raw, because Raw's women's division is very, very good, but they have women there that could afford to lose to Asuka and not hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I think maybe they felt pressured because of Asuka's age. They're
Yeah,
like,
I
look,
guess
we need
that's
to
a
get
good
the most
point.
out of
That's
this
a good point.
storyline before she's done. One more thing about the shakeup. Oh, were you about to say something about Asuka?
Yeah, I was going to say, he was talking about the possibility of them like revisiting that way too soon. I would make an argument against that they could hold off on that for as long as possible because they had AJ and Nakamura on the same show for an entire year,
and Miz and Bryan.
And so they were somehow with the lack of depth, in my opinion, that they had on SmackDown, they were somehow able to avoid that one-on-one all the way into a WrestleMania. So I think that hopefully they'll do a good job. They may or may not, but certainly I think the earliest we should see that again, though, would be like a Survivor Series coming up in November. I think we could see that match again. Well, no, never mind, because Survivor Series is Raw versus SmackDown, and they're on the same show. So
I just hope that they don't pressure storylines and push them too quickly. Now that both shows are a little more stacked, although I'd argue against Raw's tag division being stacked now. I think they lost a lot.
Oh yeah,
with the bar going, but I hope that they don't push storylines too quick now. They say, oh, well, we have 20 storylines in mind, all to happen over the next year, so we have to push this to, I don't know, Backlash or Payback, whatever.
And we're going to see a lot of storylines coming up, I think, in the next couple of months where certain storylines, they're literally probably going to only get 5 minutes of time. Just because, obviously, you can't what's the word I'm looking for, advance each single storyline that they're going to have on SmackDown in a 2-hour show.
Right.
Not everybody's going to be able to get in the ring and do it unless they start doing 10-man tags, go to the New Japan round, start having 10-man, 8-woman tag matches and all that stuff. But some, obviously, storylines, they're only going to get maybe a 5-minute little backstage segment, and that right there is going to be the advancement of that particular storyline for an entire week. So I almost want to make the argument that they should move to 3 hours, but a lot of wrestling fans don't like the fact that even Raw is 3 hours. So I don't know. As stacked as you are on SmackDown, at least let SmackDown, because I know Raw, they're scheduled 7 to 10, but they always go, well, usually it's about 10:05, but sometimes they'll go to about 10:10, maybe 10:15 on a long night, whereas SmackDown will always end 9 o'clock on the dot. Like, let SmackDown go past, 10, 15 minutes if they have to. So that way you don't feel like, because to me sometimes it feels like SmackDown is rushed a little bit, especially at the end, because if you're falling back on time, that main event gets rushed, and I don't know, sometimes it could hurt in the long run.
Agreed.
Do they ever have to quit the show and the main event still going, like they used to do in WCW all the time?
No, not that I recall.
They're always usually on time, but I feel like sometimes, they're professionals. We're not going to notice that they're running behind on time, but they may be running behind, and they're going to, you kind of see them really speed things up, kind of basically, it's almost like they kind of rush it in a way to end the show. So I just think down the line it could hurt.
And before we get off the shakeup, I want to say one more thing before I say what I really want to say about it. But congratulations to Jeff Hardy for completing the cycle, Grand Slam champion. And then a big screw you goes out to WWE Creative for always wanting to break up the Hardy Boys. Every single time. It's like it never fails. Oh, it's time to break up the Hardy Boys.
Yep.
It's time for Jeff to make a run.
What a run he's making right now as the U.S. champion.
Going to sell merchandise. That's what it is.
Jeff Hardy's a star.
And it's always, when they break it up, Jeff always gets the better treatment of the two, and it's unfortunate because now Matt has reinvented himself in the best way possible.
And you know what? The Jeff injury gave them the time to sit down and go,
yes,
well, I guess we should just break them up.
Yeah.
Let's package them with Bray.
Yep.
No! All right.
I would love to see the trio of Matt, Jeff, and Bray Wyatt. But
exactly.
Obviously, WWE sees it a little bit different.
They'll revisit it. I think maybe further down the line, maybe I doubt they'll let it go that long, but maybe Survivor Series. Maybe they'll have a SmackDown versus Raw, 5-man elimination match, and Bray and Matt will be on one side, Jeff will be on the other side, and maybe they'll revisit that again.
And like you said, they're going to dual-branded pay-per-views now, so there's always the opportunity at the pay-per-views to have some sort of interaction with, obviously, Raw and SmackDown superstars.
Now. Yeah.
So, and then how long is Matt going to be over, though? He wrestles like an old man.
He does. He's got that knee issue that he was born with. He's kind of bow-legged a little bit, so whenever he gets up, he has to, lock his legs and then stand up.
Yeah.
It looks painful.
Yeah. He's lethargic.
So that being said, let's wrap up the shakeup discussion here real quick. As far as where the shakeup is, where everybody's falling in place, where it's going to take us, what's the one thing you're most looking forward to? We talked a little bit about it earlier. For me, Daniel Bryan and The Miz storyline, obviously one of the big things I'm taking away. Right now, it looks like Big Cass is kind of intercepting that storyline. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but obviously down the line, we're going to get Daniel Bryan and The Miz. And I personally cannot wait. That's the one thing I'm looking most forward to after all the dust has settled with the shakeup.
I'm looking. The big thing I'm looking forward to is Jinder Mahal failing the concussion protocol too many times and having to retire.
Yeah, that'd be fortunate. What I'm looking forward to most, I'd probably say, is the classic tag matches we're going to get on SmackDown now. We're going to have the Bar, the Usos, the New Day, with the Bludgeon Brothers, of course. And then the influx of women talent that we have on both rosters now. I think the women's division is the best it's ever been right now. Charlotte is the absolute best females wrestler in the world. Asuka's right behind her. Nia Jax is coming to her own as her own character. And I mean, and that's not counting Alexa Bliss, Sasha, Bayley, Becky, Natalia, who's very underrated. The women's wrestling, I'd probably say is the what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, because usually, I mean, we talked about this a few podcasts ago. Usually the women's matches used to be it's time to go get a snack match.
Yes.
And now it's must-see TV.
Yes, it is.
All right, Patrick.
All right, well, with that being said, real quick, a couple of notes here for some New Japan shows coming up. Haino Kuni is coming up on April the 29th. That is next Sunday. The next time we will be on will be after that show. A couple of matches to look forward to. Evil and Sonata versus the Killer Elite Squad, the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship will be on the line. Also, Suzuki and Naito for the Intercontinental title will be your main event that night. And, of course, that show is leading up to Dantaku on May 3rd and the 4th, which will have Kushida and Ospreay for the junior heavyweight title and Okada and Tanahashi for the heavyweight title as well. So just a couple of things to look forward to. Obviously, we'll go over the results next Sunday of the Haino Kuni show on the 29th.
Haino Kuni!
Yeah, whenever we do the show next Sunday. So we'll go over that and then look ahead to, obviously, Dantaku coming up the following weekend after that. But now, let's dive into this upcoming week. We have the Greatest Royal Rumble event. Let me pull up the match card, as a matter of fact. I mean, we're less than a week out, so the match card should, for the most part, be set here, and I think it is. We still have a lot of people. What do we got? Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Casey coming in the clutch here. So we got the Universal Championship in a steel cage match. Brock Lesnar defends against Roman Reigns. The WWE Championship, AJ Styles defends against Shinsuke Nakamura. Intercontinental Championship ladder match. This one could be really good. I am looking forward to this. Seth Rollins, The Miz, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Bobby Lashley. That must have been a late addition, Bobby Lashley, because this is the first time I'm seeing Bobby Lashley's name on there. John Cena versus Triple H in the Random Match of the Year award right there. Undertaker versus Rusev in a casket match. Now, this has been unusual because it was Undertaker versus Rusev. Then they put Jericho in there, and now they took Jericho out and Rusev's back in. So we could talk a little bit about that coming up as to what's going on with that. Jeff Hardy defends his United States title against Jinder Mahal. Obviously, that's going to be interesting because both guys are on different brands now. The SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Bludgeon Brothers will defend against the Usos. Raw Tag Team titles will be on the line. The Bar, who's now on SmackDown, will defend against Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt, which right there kind of, might tell you something. Yeah. Maybe Matt and Bray's going to win it there. The Greatest Royal Rumble match also, which is going to be 50 men. This is what it says here according to CBSSports.com. They've already announced Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Big Show, Kane, The New Day, Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews, Shelton Benjamin, Sin Cara, Elias, Chad Gable, Goldust, Titus O'Neil, Mojo Rawley, and Dolph Ziggler. Expect every available men's wrestler from Raw and SmackDown, along with some NXT and a couple of local talents to be in the match. It has not been announced whether the winner will receive anything of value. Also, it says the Cruiserweight Championship, Cedric Alexander will defend against TBD, to be determined. So I don't know if we're going to get a rematch with Mustafa Ali or not. But
I think he's actually going to be defending against Drew Gulak. I think that's what he's been defending on the live scenes, or the live event scene. And actually, it was announced that article is probably not up to date, but it was announced this week that the winner of the Greatest Royal Rumble will receive a trophy. They won't receive a title shot or anything like that, as far as we know. But the trophy is I think 3 or 4 feet tall. It's a huge trophy.
Yeah.
See, that's the one problem I have with this entire show. I feel like it's the greatest Royal Rumble. You're building it as the greatest Royal Rumble. Right. Obviously, there's only been one time in history we had a 40-man Royal Rumble. The first time ever they're going to have a 50-man Royal Rumble. I think, a trophy's cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a cool little honor. But to me, this doesn't seem like it's going to be an annual thing. It would mean a little bit more, obviously, if it's an annual thing. But if this is a one-off, you got to give the winner something a little bit more than just a trophy. I mean, you can give him a trophy, but also give him some sort of title match.
I would have given him a title shot at SummerSlam. That's that would have built it up a lot to me.
And this trophy is just going to collect dust.
Yeah.
Now, also, I will make the argument against it. I just made an argument for it and against it. Now, if they do offer a championship match to the winner of this Royal Rumble, does it maybe take away from the actual Royal Rumble match that we get in January? I mean, that would be the only kind of question I would have. Like, it may take away the legitimacy of the actual Royal Rumble, but then again, like, I don't know. It's just a thought I had.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because the Royal Rumble, don't mean to cut you off again, but Royal Rumble is my favorite match of the year. I mean, it's the most unpredictable match. You don't know who's going to win. You got 30 dudes in there, at one time 40. I honestly hope they would go to a 40-man Royal Rumble again. That would be really cool. I enjoyed the 40-man Royal Rumble. I don't know why they kind of went away from it, especially with like the plethora of talent that you have on 2 different rosters now, plus the NXT guys as well, and then plus you can have a couple of returning guys as well. Like, you could easily put 40 dudes in there, but 30 is the traditional way to do it. I understand, them go back to 30, and I'm still okay with 30. The Royal Rumble is still my favorite match of the year.
Was there anything in that article about Bobby Lashley's eyebrows making an appearance? Like he's growing them back.
They can be like, when we fill out the scorecards, they can be the unscheduled appearances. Bobby Lashley's eyebrows.
Nice.
So, but yeah, that was the card. I just went down thanks to Casey. I was pulling it up. Casey had it boom ready for me to go right there. So, with that being said, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what is there? Obviously, the winner of the Greatest Royal Rumble, that's going to be a very fun match, I think. That's going to be really fun. The crowd's going to be really hot for that. In my opinion, that should be the last match because the title of the show is the Greatest Royal Rumble. Therefore, you're building it around that. John Cena, Triple H, kind of random. They haven't really built up a storyline for this.
Well, I think that's just simply because in Saudi Arabia, I might be completely wrong, and I might just sound ignorant to a lot of people here, but I don't think they're as up with the times when it comes to wrestling, and a lot of them are behind. And 10 years ago, Cena and Triple H was one of the biggest feuds, in wrestling. Mm-hmm. So those are probably 2 of the biggest names that they know, and they're probably just thinking that. Yeah, let's just put them together. Why not?
So the show's going to be held at 6 p.m. Saudi Arabian time, which makes me think about this. With their culture and everything like that, how many people are going to be dialed into the network in Saudi Arabia watching this?
Right.
Why don't you show it at 2 o'clock in the morning over there?
Yeah.
So you can show it at 7 o'clock at night here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
But you also gotta, and I like it from the perspective that it's a little bit different, especially on the timing. It's on a Friday, the middle of the day here. You gotta realize they have to, I'm trying to think of the word to use. They have to, I guess, play to the live crowd.
Right.
If they do it, there at 2, because you got to do it at a time that's good for the crowd. Like at 6 p.m., the crowd's going to be able to be there on a Friday night, ready to go. They're going to be amped, ready to see some wrestling. Whereas, like, if they did it in the middle of the day, how big would the crowd be? I guess because at the end of the day, you got to do it at a good time. Whether you're, in Japan, whether you're in America, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Saudi Arabia, you got to do it. You got to basically, it revolves around where you're at, the crowd, your live crowd. Because I remember a couple of years ago they did the whole Beast in the East network special. They were in Japan, and I remember I had to get up at like 4 a.m. to watch it, and but then they suited to the live crowd that was there at the time based on where they were. So I think from that perspective is why they're doing it at the time and the date and all that stuff that they're doing it so that they can play to the Saudi Arabian crowd. And Friday night 6 o'clock, obviously you're going to get one heck of a crowd no matter where you're at.
Right.
So. But no matter what time of the day, when King Abdullah tells you to cheer, you cheer.
And the thing about the network is obviously, like Casey said, he's going to be at work. I'm going to be at Jazz Fest. So I'm going to watch it later. That's the thing. That's the cool thing about the network. No matter when it is, you can watch it whenever you want.
Yeah, but you're going to see the spoilers.
Well, I'm turning my phone off that day, actually. Yeah. I'm fully committed. My buddy Ryan and I said we're going to turn our phones off at the beginning of the day, and we're going to stay spoiler-free. So nice. I'm going to get to work. I'm going to turn. My boss is going to love it because I'm going to turn my phone off and just put my phone up. And I don't want any spoilers because I see them every now and then. Obviously, if I have to miss Raw or if I have to miss SmackDown or read spoilers, no big deal. But when it comes to something this big, I want to watch it live.
Yeah,
or not live, but I want to watch it and see the
results. And not be swayed by anything you see.
Yeah, see, I'm all about watching stuff live too, but of course, I'm gonna do my best to stay away because there's been plenty of times I've spoiled myself for getting on the internet and catching spoilers and stuff. But One more thing we can talk about before we hop into the rumor mill. What's the deal with, Undertaker versus Rusev? They take Rusev out, put Jericho in, which I was excited for Taker Jericho, a little more than I am excited about Undertaker Rusev. But then Rusev's back in, and obviously there's all this talk about Rusev requesting his release before WrestleMania. They threw him into the U.S. title match. I think he actually got pinned in the match by Jinder, and now he was supposed to face Taker. They pull him for whatever reason. I don't know if he was getting ready to leave the company because apparently he changed his name on Twitter. He took WWE out. He put his real name, put his booking info also on Twitter as well. So there was a lot of talk. Maybe he's leaving the company, and then obviously now he's back in the match. So I don't know, Casey. I don't know if you've been reading anything. I don't know maybe if you know what's going on behind the scenes. Ryan, I don't know if you've been reading anything. I haven't been able to really dig deep into it, but I mean, Casey, have you read anything about what's going on with Rusev and WWE and their relationship status right now?
The only thing that I've read is apparently Rusev sent out a tweet when the Undertaker and Rusev casket match was announced, and Rusev apparently said on Twitter something along the lines of "bury me softly," basically saying he's going to get buried by Undertaker, burying a young up-and-coming talent. Mm-hmm. And officials didn't like that, so they apparently had taken him out of the match. Rusev did whatever he needed to do. He apologized. I think he probably apologized to Undertaker. And they took Jericho back out of the match and then put Rusev back in. And it looks like Jericho's probably just going to be in the Greatest Royal Rumble. But, I don't actually think Rusev is leaving because if Rusev was leaving, honestly, they would have just taken him off TV. And they wouldn't have put him in the U.S. title match at all. They probably would have run an injury angle at WrestleMania, and he wouldn't have been able to compete or something. But as far as I know, it was just bad verbiage on Twitter, and he just made a mistake and screwed up, and they were threatening to take him out of the match, and he fixed it, and so now he's back in, apparently.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the bad thing is I think we all know which way that match is going to go. But I will say this. Look, I know a lot of people were doo-dooing on the Undertaker's match at WrestleMania with John Cena, which the execution of the match was not great. But the fact that the way they built it up and the Undertaker shows up at the very last minute, I was so hyped when I heard the gongs and he came down to the ring, which in my opinion, they didn't even need to have a match. He could have just came down to the ring and they could have just beat the hell out of each other in a not even an official match. Just beat the hell out of each other. And the Undertaker could have eventually just tombstoned him or put him through a table or done whatever. The most diabolical thing you think of that he can do to John Cena, to put John Cena down and then walk out and I just kicked your ass, John. Now what are you going to do? Which some people are thinking that match may set up a possible rematch at WrestleMania next year. Because now it's looking very similar to what happened with The Rock. He lost to The Rock at WrestleMania 28. He got a divorce. He broke up with Nikki Bella, and then now next year he's going to have the rematch and he's going to win. So I don't know. That's what people are going by right now. They're saying the storyline's so similar right now. Obviously, the fact that him and Nikki Bella broke up has nothing to do with John Cena and the Undertaker. But it was just kind of funny about how he had lost to Rock at WrestleMania 28, gets a divorce from his wife, goes on to face The Rock again next year and wins, and now it's kind of the same track so far going into next year's WrestleMania. I don't think we're going to see that again next year. I think that was kind of like a one-and-done thing. Also, though, there's talk that maybe The Undertaker is up for wrestling a few more times this year, maybe like 4 or 5 times this year, which would be beneficial in my opinion. Obviously,
not if they book it the same way.
I know, but I guess it depends on who. He's going to win this match probably against Rusev, and then
he has to. It's a casket match.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I could also make the since he's going to wrestle 4 or 5 times a year, I could see where Rusev somehow gets him into that casket and closes it, wins the match, but then the Undertaker busts the casket back wide open, beats down Rusev, and then walks out, loses the match, but still, I guess, in a way, wins the segment. Or, get what I'm saying? Wins that part of the storyline, and that may set up some kind of rematch later down the line if he's going to wrestle a few times a year.
I have an opinion on it. I actually think Rusev's going to win this match. I think Cena's going to cost Taker the match. And I think that's going to maybe set up something potentially with them again in the future. And I think that's a perfect way for Undertaker to disappear for a while and nobody questioning it because he gets, put in a casket. Oh, okay, cool, he's a dead man. He's dead for a while, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think Cena cost Taker the match. And then Cena disappears for a while, too. Maybe till Money in the Bank or SummerSlam or something. But yeah, I actually see Rusev winning this match.
Yeah. So is this a Cena heel turn?
I don't necessarily think so. I think it's kind of, again, along the same lines as whenever he and The Rock were involved in their thing, and he was a little more aggressive, I guess, instead of more heelish. I think he's just going to be a little bit more aggressive. I think we'll see more tendencies, kind of like last year when Cena and AJ had their Royal Rumble match, and we kind of saw some more aggressive tendencies out of Cena. I think we're going to see that exact same thing, and I think we actually do see Cena and Taker again at Mania 35, except in a proper build, in a proper match, and we actually get, what we want. And I think that'll 100% be Undertaker's last match.
Well, now the word is that Undertaker can't deliver a proper match. That's why it was a squash, right?
Right. That apparently, yes.
Maybe right now he can't, but
right.
if he because that, and that's another point I was going to make. The fact that if he wrestles 4 or 5 times a year, starts to kind of knock off a little bit of ring rust, gets in shape. If he stays healthy, then I think he'd be able to put on. If he wrestles every 3 months, that's good enough for the Undertaker. As long as he's training in between those 3 months. If he gets in the ring every few months against whoever, like he's going to get in the ring with Rusev this coming Friday, and knock off the ring rust, because you can't go a whole year. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. You cannot go an entire year without stepping foot in the ring and expect to put on a good quality match.
Right.
Like, you can't do that. So if he does that, has his 4 or 5 matches, then obviously, like Casey said, have the proper build, you can have those two in the ring, put on a good 10 to 15 minute match. And I think, if they do fight, it's going to be career versus career. Obviously, The Undertaker loses. It's his last match. He went out against Cena, and it could be a very good classic 10 to 15 minute match. And that's my opinion on what could happen. I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, but if that were to happen, I think that could be the way to go.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you want to jump into a rumor mill now?
Let's do it.
All right. So, you got something. Brock obviously signed a new contract. You have the details of that contract, do you?
This guy is getting paid, son.
He's been getting paid.
God, listen to this. All right. So, reportedly, right, because they're usually close to the vest about their contracts and everything. So, I don't know how Fox Sports found this out, but apparently this is legit news because it's coming from Fox, not some, small,
right,
dirt sheet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So, here we go. Reportedly, he's going to get paid $637,000 per pay-per-view match.
Yep.
He's going to get paid $127,000 just for showing up on live TV, and he doesn't have to wrestle.
Right.
He can just come up there and shut up and let Paul do the promo, and that's 127 G's.
Yep.
Also, he gets 6% of his merchandise.
Wow.
And they're going to pay him $637,000 a year to use his likeness.
Yeah.
Which reportedly, that's what the UFC is going to pay him as well, to use his likeness.
Wow. He's a good businessman. The dude knows how to try and get his money, that's for sure. But
now, this totally rubs it in the face of all the Brock haters out there.
Uh-huh.
Not only do all you Brock haters hate this dude, he's getting paid.
Yeah.
yeah.
He is.
By God. Mama Sable's happy. She's counting them checks. She's ready to buy some new black leather.
Yeah, she's hanging out north of the border up there, just, flinging money around.
She's in the Dakotas, don't you know?
Well, no, they live in Canada now.
Oh, they live in Canada now?
He probably has like 4 houses.
He probably does, but the last time Brock...
let me guess, Saskatchewan?
No, I don't know where, but the last time he fought in UFC, they had the Canadian flag next to his name.
No.
He lives in Canada, yeah.
Dual citizen?
I guess. I don't know.
It's probably that medicinal weed up there. Here, that Canadian
it's about to be legal.
Pretty good.
It's about to be legal. It's not legal yet. I think this summer they're going to legalize it, though.
Yeah.
So with that being said, so that's right there, basically the Brock contract situation. So
holy cow.
Let's dive into cheap heat, because you got a pretty good cheap heat coming up. Obviously, John and Nikki Bella breaking up earlier this week. So with that being said, I'm going to grab some popcorn, and you go ahead. You have a rant.
Yeah.
Have at it. The floor is yours.
Let's save that to the end, because there's some other stuff that's been
let's jump
on
onto Sami Callihan and Kevin Sullivan. I don't really know much about what's going on with those two. Ryan, you're in the forefront
Have
of that.
y'all seen this tweet that Sami put out?
I have not.
Oh my God. Let me get it here. So apparently he was doing a show with Rockstar Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
Right? Apparently he had a match with Kevin Sullivan, and this was the freaking outcome.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He has a big old bump on it. Like, okay, it's old man Kevin Sullivan. There's blood all over his face. There's this big old, almost the size of a softball, like bump on Kevin Sullivan's head. He's looking like he doesn't know where he is or who he is. And then Sami Callihan tweets out this picture and says, Kevin Sullivan wanted to run his mouth tonight at Rockstar Pro Wrestling, so he got his old ass beat. I don't care who you are or what you've done. Just add his name to my list of victims. My give a F is broken. Hashtag the draw. Hashtag unsafe. Dude, Sami, when is this going to end, dude? Like, who's going to want to wrestle with you anymore, bro?
No one.
Like, why would somebody want to put themselves through this? I don't know if that was from a bat or if he took a head dive out the ring. I don't know what that bump is from, but that's serious, bro.
Yeah.
That could put an old man's life in jeopardy. And I get it, Kevin Sullivan's a tough dude, bro. But there's going to become a time, and Ryan Bowman said it best from the Miami Herald and the GorillaPosition.com, shout out, when he was on here the last time. He said he doesn't know if the lines of storyline and shoot reality are getting crossed with Sami Callihan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this guy just this unstable where he thinks this is the reason why people are booking him because he's effing people up?
I mean, I don't know what he's doing, but it seems like he's sort of just digging him a deeper and deeper hole. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, as a matter of fact.
You're going to become a liability for companies where they don't want to get sued because you hit somebody in the face with a bat.
It's one of those things.
That's not
it's
a gimmick.
Like, obviously a lot of people are talking about him, and in the world of wrestling, you want people to talk about you, but at the same time, it seems like it's getting a little more negative now for him. So I don't know what's going on with Sami Callihan.
Like,
and all
this
these
stuff right here isn't going to get you back in the WWE. No, I don't know if he wants to go, but it's not going to get you in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to want you to crack Okada over the head like this.
Certainly not, because they're not really I don't think they really do blood in New Japan. They don't.
No,
because that's what obviously they had blood in the Kenny Jericho match at Wrestle Kingdom, but other than that, you don't ever see blood in New Japan. You don't ever see no hardcore or anything like that. All you ever see in New Japan is just pure good wrestling, and that's all they need. They don't need all the bats, all the blood, all the hardcore, all that nasty stuff. They don't need that in New Japan.
You're not coming 2 miles from Kenny Omega's face with a bat.
Oh no, absolutely not.
You know what I mean?
Oh no.
They gonna protect Kenny. I would. If I'm them, you protect Kenny Omega at all costs.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know where he's going with this, bro. He just seems unstable, to be honest with you.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
I'm not. I know people that are, and I've talked to people online at shows, and they advocate for him, and I'm like, look, you can try your best to advocate all you want. In my very humble and simple opinion, this guy's trash.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan at all. Never have been, even when he was in NXT. And now ever since he's left, he's a risk. He's a liability.
Yeah. I just don't get the whole Sami Callihan thing going on right now.
I don't either.
And like, obviously, he was getting a bunch of heat from the boys on this tweet too, dude.
That's
They
twice
had
now.
so many wrestlers calling him out, saying, "Dude, your time's coming, bro."
And that's like 2 strikes. And at this point, it ain't like baseball. 3 strikes, you're out. At this point, 2 strikes, he might be out because he obviously got all that heat with the Eddie Edwards thing. Now he's getting heat for this. I mean,
bro, he's gonna book an indie show somewhere, and these dudes in the back are probably gonna like ambush him gang style.
You almost feel for him in a way, almost. But if you keep doing stuff like this, it's hard to feel bad for you, man.
Also, another thing going on right now. We talked about it a few podcasts ago. What happened at WrestleCon with the hot coffee for Jake the Snake and Harry Smith Jr.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what also makes this interesting is you were saying Harry's got some dates here in the States.
In Texas.
And he's got the date on the 29th in Japan. Well, the cops are looking for Harry Smith Jr. right now for assault charges.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So he may be in the clink.
Holy crap.
He might be.
I'm actually going I'm going to try and find the date that Killer Elite Squad is booked for. I'm friends with Lance Hoyt on Facebook. I'm trying to go on his page because I saw he had shared it earlier. But
he may have took it down because he knows his partner's about to get arrested.
He might have.
But, I mean, number one, like we said last week, man, Harry, just like this thing with Sami Callihan, you know, picking on an old dude is not going to get you anywhere.
No.
You know, this isn't heel.
Especially if you're legitimately throwing hot coffee on this dude.
Yeah.
This is not like, if it's kayfabe, that's one thing. I don't think this ain't no kayfabe stuff.
Because he challenged him to a fight before that in the parking lot.
I mean, you can't be doing that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, especially to a legend like Jake the Snake Roberts.
Even though Jake the Snake has had a storied past of addiction and just being an absolute douche, he's still Jake the Snake freaking Roberts.
Yeah, he's very well known as one of the more legendary wrestlers because of the snake. Obviously, and his gimmick.
And if I was Lance Archer, I would be pissed.
Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, you know how much momentum we had?
Right.
And then because you wanted to be an immature little prick, you may possibly ruin our brand. Like, can we recover from this? Because this isn't heel. You know what I mean? This is just like straight up dastardly, underhanded stuff that you did, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
it really is.
that our fans aren't going to be cool with.
Agreed.
I don't know.
They just started up their own website. Their Killer Elite Squad.
Yeah.
They're releasing a whole
New
bunch of
merch?
new merchandise.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's a tough situation. Which do you know which police force is looking for him?
No.
No,
I sure don't.
I wonder if it's New Orleans PD.
But I do have a story on our Facebook page from I can't remember where it's from. Talking like a robot for no reason. But yeah, good. Check us out on Facebook at MarkOutMania. The story's up there. And now we get to John Cena and Nikki Bella on Cheap Heat.
Now it's time for Ryan's rant. Yay. Glad the popcorn's been ready.
Well, I tell you what. So we learned from Yahoo News about 2 days ago that old Johnny Boy had Nikki sign a 75-page document before he would even let her move into his mansion. What is that all about?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know.
It's like a prenup, but not a prenup because you're not married.
It's weird. I don't know. John Cena seems like somebody, I can't remember who it is, basically kind of deemed him as a, quote, real-life heel.
He's a narcissist.
He's basically all about himself. And, obviously that's a totally different side of John Cena than what, WWE portrays him to be as, the ambassador of the company. The most, wishes granted with Make-A-Wish, which you can't knock him for that. The dude, obviously, but now you kind of look at it, is he doing that for the kids, or is he kind of doing that for his self-image?
He's doing that for himself.
So with that being said, I don't think you started your rant yet. I don't.
No. I definitely wanted to cover this first.
Look, I like John as a wrestler, what he's done for the company and what he's done for professional wrestling, but I don't know. It seems like more and more like him just as a person, not exactly the person that he is portrayed to be on obviously on WWE television. And it's unfortunate because he's John Cena, he's and now obviously his name's getting a little bit bigger. Obviously people will compare him to The Rock, going to Hollywood, getting his, The Rock right now, one of the hottest, if not the hottest Hollywood actor out there right now. And now John Cena really following in his footsteps, trying to do that. And I don't know if the fact that he's not catching The Rock or he's not close to what The Rock is making him be like that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know John Cena personally, obviously, but
I don't think you would want to know him personally.
Well, I don't know. I've always said he seems like a cool guy that to hang out with, like have a beer with, talk about whatever.
Because every time he's in front of camera, he's kayfabe, bro.
But that's the thing. Like, I'm talking about hanging out with him like off camera, which now doesn't really seem like that much of a good idea. But
no, but you should have known long time ago that he wasn't a cool dude to hang out with. Mm-hmm. And I'll get to that in my rant. I can feel it. It's building up in me, bro.
Oh, good. Well, let's build it up then, man, because I want to get 110% of this rant right here.
I legitimately can't stand this dude. I haven't been able to stand him in a while, and this is a great time just to vent. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the People magazine thing, I wish that guy wouldn't have stole my thunder when he said he was a real-life heel, because I said that to my wife, Mandy. She's a John Cena mark, mainly because... he's got a great body.
Of course, that's
decent looking.
That's why I'm I got Becky Lynch, Mandy Rose Mark, who else? Almost any woman wrestler. That's why I'm marked for them.
Yeah,
Tori Wilson especially. My goodness.
And right when this story broke,
Casey knows. Like Casey's over there.
Hey, yep. Tori Wilson.
Oh yeah,
his eyes lit up.
Mm-hmm.
I told my wife right when this story broke, I was like, "This dude's a real life heel." And he has been for a long time, and I don't see how people can't see through that. So apparently, People magazine is saying that it's actually Nikki Bella who actually called it off. And I think that's a great move on her part because, number one, as we've seen in Total Divas, she really wants to be a mother. Mm-hmm. And I think she would be a great mom. And John Cena flat out told her, I can't give you that. Yes, you could, John Cena. You could be a horrible father just like you're a horrible boyfriend and a horrible former husband. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But here's the point. Just like that article said, John Cena, you are a real life heel. And it started out a long time ago when you cheated on your wife, dude. And I know, hey, that's the wrestling game. All the boys do it. No, all the boys don't have to do it, bro. You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to cave in. You could have been faithful to your wife. What, you thought she wasn't going to find out? You didn't want her to get half your stuff? The bigger thing to do as a man would have been to say, hey, I don't love you anymore. I want to fool around. I want to get around, and I want to catch an STD possibly. With all these ring rats floating around here. And divorced her. But no, you had to go and do it the wrong way. And obviously, it really didn't hurt you. You seem like a Teflon Don over here. But I mean, maybe that's the storyline that they had you in, where people are like, no, he's a really good guy. It's just, he's gone for a long time and he really hasn't seen her. And, a man's going to be a man. But here's where it comes down to now, John. From all accounts, you got a great girl, dude. She is so supportive of you. She has your back in every single moment, and you threw it down the tube. And one day, when you're sitting alone in the nursing home while the nurse is changing your bedpan, you're going to wish you had Nikki Bella by your side, dude, to be supportive. Mm-hmm. You're going to wish she was the one wiping your butt when you take a crap. You're going to wish she was the one feeding you instead of a 300-pound nurse with a big old mole and a hair sticking out of it. But she's going to be somewhere else happy with grandchildren running around and a husband who loves her, dude. All these money, all these movies, they're going to be all in the past. I see your suits. I see your cars. I see your house. Once wrestling's over, dude, what are you going to have left? You're running through that money. Yeah, you're getting paid a lot, but you spend a lot too. Ask Ric Flair how that worked out for him. So one day when you reflect on your life, John, you're going to see this as a huge, huge mistake. Nikki Bella should have been way more important than your movies. Nikki Bella should have been way more important than your career. Because you're going to die alone, John. And you're going to be miserable. It's just going to be that simple, dude. And you deserve every single moment of it. There we go.
There you go. Ryan's rant on John Cena, the narcissist.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, Casey, you have any thoughts on obviously, after I gave a little bit of my thoughts on it, and then Ryan did his rant. What are your thoughts on the whole John Cena, Nikki Bella saga here?
Well, I just have one comment. Well, two. I agree with everything Ryan just said. And two, not only was she super supportive of John Cena, she is smoking hot. All right? You're letting something like that walk away. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how, according to Ryan's wife, I don't care how great your body is.
Yeah.
You don't let something like that walk away.
John Cena, I think, also invested a lot of money in her chest too. By the way, so that's how I could always tell the Bellas apart. Pretty much.
I also just want to say, part of a relationship, getting into it, whether you plan on getting married or not, is about making compromises. When my fiance and I got together, she wanted a ton of kids. I did. I wanted kids, but not that many, maybe one. And it's all about compromises. I'm not just going to say, oh, well, I'm not going to do that, but I want to stay together with you. That's not how it works. She wanted to go back to school. I'm not really for school right now, but I'm not going to say, oh, well, I'm never going to go back to school for you if that's what you want me to do.
Yeah.
And a relationship, and you're married, a relationship is about compromises. It doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor. It doesn't matter if you're lower class, middle class, upper class. A relationship and a marriage is about compromises. And why stay with someone for 6 years if you're not going to get married? And that's just that's my closed-minded look on it. Not marriage isn't for everybody, because situations like this do happen, and it's a good thing that they weren't married, because then this would have been a whole much bigger deal.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's basically the same as leading someone on in a relationship, because you gotta make compromises. I don't like to mix drama or more drama than I have to with wrestling. But, I agree. John Cena is getting everything he deserves. So I hope that Nikki is happy with whatever happens in the rest of her life. So
right. And obviously he's not going to feel the effects right now because life is good.
Right.
You're still wrestling. You're still making tons of money. You're still getting booked movies.
Injured or retired by himself.
It's not going to be until you're old when you have nobody, John. That's when you're going to start reflecting a lot. And you're going to remember that day when you told Nikki to kick rocks. All right, well, not. I mean, you essentially told her every time you denied what she wanted.
Right.
It's always been about you, John. And I think he was running like a storyline on her the whole time they were dating, because apparently for a while there, he apparently changed. No, old dogs don't learn new tricks. He didn't change. He was just running a kayfabe storyline on her to keep her around so he could keep tapping that, right?
What I look at John Cena's obviously last year he proposed to Nikki Bella, which that WrestleMania moment ruined it now. And I look at the last few WrestleManias for John Cena. This past year he got squashed by the Undertaker. WrestleMania 33, he gets obviously the win. They squashed the Miz and them. He proposes, which now that is meaningless. The year before that, he's injured and actually shows up to take the Rock against the Wyatt family. And so his last, really, in my opinion, relevant WrestleMania was WrestleMania 31. So I don't know. I don't know if that's, playing part in everything, but certainly has not had a relevant WrestleMania moment, in my opinion, since WrestleMania 31 when he ended Rusev's undefeated streak and won the United States Championship. So
still mad about that.
So like I said, John Cena hasn't had a relevant WrestleMania moment, at least up to this point now. Obviously, the most relevant was the WrestleMania 33 proposal, which is no longer relevant. So
didn't in that match he stepped on the flag or something?
That was a Battleground last year in a flag versus flag match. Well, not only WrestleMania, let's not forget about SummerSlam. This past SummerSlam, when he beat Baron Corbin, was the first SummerSlam he had won at in 6 years. Yeah, and that's the last time he won at a SummerSlam until last year was whenever Team WWE defeated Team Nexus.
Wow.
And after that, he lost 6 straight and then won last year. So, yeah, that's, John gets the rep from a lot of people as one of the greatest ever, but you look at some of the parts of his track record, and it's...
especially lately.
Yeah, especially lately. So, I mean, and then he tied Ric Flair's record. We'll quote that because it's not a real record, but title reign lasted, 2 weeks? 2 or 3 weeks? Somewhere in there.
Well, because he'd won it...
At the Rumble.
at the Rumble, and then he dropped it
at Elimination Chamber.
So he lasted
to
a
Bray
month.
Wyatt. Yeah. So it was very short.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then to be honest with you, 16 just seems low for Rick.
That's why I quote that.
Yeah. Question though: does Cena get reign number 17? To me, right now, it almost doesn't even look like it because, like, he's slowly, in my opinion, getting a little further away from wrestling. He's starting
in my honest opinion, I don't think people care. To be 100% honest, I don't think people care anymore.
No, they don't.
Because it's, cool, yeah.
But
and
I will
they'll probably
say
make
this.
it the Universal title if he does.
But I will say this: he can still, come back and put on some great matches with some of these younger guys, get them over because that's what needs to be happening. He needs to come over. Put over an Andrade Cien Almas. Put over an Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Put over, I'm trying to think of some other, put over a Bobby Roode. Put over, I'm trying to think who else, like some up-and-coming guys. Like he put over Kevin Owens. I enjoyed that.
Put over Shin last year.
Yeah, exactly. So, come back. If he, like I said, at this point in Cena's career, he doesn't need to be feuding with The Undertaker.
Nope.
For sure. He needs to be coming back, feuding with some of these younger guys. Hell, there's even talk. Some people want to see him go up against EC3. So put over EC3, and there's so much.
Think about the storyline there. That's kind of WWE's Golden Boy against TNA's Golden Boy.
Yeah.
So that's a I could see that potentially.
Yeah. So
what
come
if
over
they
and put
hire
over some of these
Dixie
young
Carter
guys
as EC3's valet whenever?
Oh my God!
Whenever he comes up.
That'd be different.
Yeah.
That'd be something, man.
Yeah.
Just seeing Dixie on that documentary. I forget which one it was. Was it the one on Kurt Angle?
It might have been the one about Kurt Angle. Yes, I think it was. I was going to say AJ Styles, but it was the one about Kurt Angle.
I think she made a brief appearance, and it's like, man, that's weird. It's just like the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast whenever he brought on AJ, and they talked about TNA.
Yeah.
That was because that was taboo for a long time, and it was very strange to see, and it still is. So if Dixie ever did show up on WWE TV, I'd lose it, man.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be epic.
Well, with that being said, I got to go run these tickets out real quick. I think that's all we got here, man.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you want to wrap it up for a couple of minutes? I'm going to go run these tickets out real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'll be here to do the outro.
Well, Casey, dude, thank you so much for joining us today, man. This was a blast, bro.
Yeah, it was, man. Thanks so much for having me on. It was great to be able to still do something with wrestling, but stay in town for 2 weekends in a row.
Right.
It was awesome, man. Again, greatly honored to be here. So much fun. Super excited to finally be. I know we talked for a while about me being on, but it was so much fun. I can't wait to do it again.
Now, how can people find you on the Ventonet?
Man. You can find me on my personal accounts on Facebook, Casey Jones. You'll see me with my big beard that I no longer have. You can find me at Instagram on my personal page. It's king_4_a day. You can just find it there. If you want to check out the podcast that I was previously a part of, Pro Wrestling Roundabout, who I still support, you can find them on Facebook at Pro Wrestling Roundabout. Instagram, just search Pro Wrestling Roundabout. Twitter, same thing. And their website is pwrofficial.com. So go check them out. I'm still a big supporter of Bryce and his brand. Check out their YouTube show, Full Circle. Just search Pro Wrestling Roundabout, and that will pop up. It's great stuff they got going on.
Very cool. Yeah. And I think the coolest thing we learned today was, even though Casey has the same exact name as Casey Jones from the Turtles, it's not the same exact name.
It's not. It's just a coincidence.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
One more thing to add, this coming Wednesday, PW Scorecards will have the greatest Royal Rumble scorecards available. We're going to put them on our Facebook, Twitter pages, so be sure to go download them, play along. We're not going to do a greatest Royal Rumble preview show just due to scheduling conflicts and whatnot. So, but we will all fill them out, the Markout crew, and we will post them on our Twitter and Facebook pages. So, of course, you guys, Casey, you can download one. You ever download those scorecards, the PW scorecards?
I have before, yeah.
Yeah,
I think the
download
last
one
I did was, it's been a little bit, but I think the last one I did was Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber. It was one of those.
Well, yeah, man, download it. Put it on your Twitter, Facebook, whatever. We'll all play along, man. It's always fun to fill out those scorecards.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to play along.
Somebody has to dethrone Brink. I'm sorry. I need to get that belt back.
Don't worry, I'll take care of that. Don't worry.
So, but yeah, everybody go download the Greatest Royal Rumble scorecards. They will be available on Wednesday, and of course, ready for the show on Friday.
Yeah, and speaking of pro wrestling scorecards, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, we have the creator, Daniel, tentatively scheduled for the 29th. However, I just got back with him. He was scheduled for a flight to Chicago for his business, Chirac. Yeah, so he's going to get back with me Monday when he gets his itinerary to see what we can do. We may have to reschedule, but we'll keep the Markout Nation up to breaking news on every development as we go forward from here. But, yeah, he's still down for the 29th. If he can squeeze it in, he's going to squeeze it in. And, of course, you got to run a game for McNeese, so he knows about the time change. So hopefully we'll be able to work it out. If not, we'll just reschedule. We'll get him on the show for sure.
Definitely.
With that being said, please go to iTunes, download the show. Also, leave us a ranking and leave us a comment on there. It's going to help us get in their algorithm and get shared more on iTunes. Also, follow us on Twitter. Of course, about a week ago, we had our big sparring session with Dave Meltzer on there. That was fun. And we're always tweeting breaking news stuff. I mean, we're average Joes, like we've said. We're not insiders, but we're always looking at Twitter, at Facebook for breaking news, and we get it out there pretty quick, I think. So if you're looking for a good source for news and rumors, check out us on Twitter, MarkOutMania, and be sure we'd appreciate it if you hit the follow button. Other than that, man, it's time to get out of here. This was a great show.
Absolutely.
We packed a lot into an hour and 40 minutes.
We sure did, and big thanks to Casey. I really enjoyed having Casey on the show, man. He has some great insight on every single thing we talked about. So I for one, vote that we have Casey on again in the future.
Definitely. Definitely a return guest spot.
Absolutely.
Oh, and you know what?
Shakeup.
I forgot to read the mic sponsor.
Read it now. I guess it ain't never too late.
I don't have it.
Well, I guess you could edit it in. You can edit it on in there. Is it Bambox?
It's Bambox.
Bambox! The Bambox guest mic today. We have Casey. As he waves to the crowd here.
Yeah.
Bambox, and Bambox.
Bambox.
I think they got their money's worth right there. Hell, they got their money's worth when Brinkman was here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you're right.
Because he said it every other word.
Yeah.
So,
just make sure you click it on our website, MarkOutMania.com. That would help us out a lot. All right, Patrick, get us out of here, bro.
outro.
You've been listening to the Markout Mania podcast, a Lake Area Media, LLC production. The views and opinions expressed in this show are those of Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry and are not affiliated with any wrestling promotion or company. Follow Markout Mania on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. For all Markout Mania links, news, and free podcasts, visit MarkOutMania.com. You've been marked.